Hi guys, it's Gould and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a clothing shop using the Get to Work pack. It's currently free on EA Play, so I figured why not give it a go and see what we can do with it. I did start off by going with a too big a build. I maybe should have gone a little smaller, but I do like how it turned out and I hope you guys like it too. As always, I'd love your feedback in the comments below. So starting off, I went with a concrete kind of stone base. I wasn't quite sure if I wanted this one or the other one, so I had my mini experts explain to me which ones they preferred, and that's the one we went for. Again, this is probably the biggest clothes shop I've ever made. I would have gone with something smaller, but I kind of wanted to utilise all of the space, so I did go in and make kind of a different looking kind of the size. I don't know what it was. I just wanted to make something that kind of wrapped around the build a little, and this is what we ended up with. I did go in and change the roof a couple of times because, you know, me and Bruce by now, we definitely do not get along, and I wanted to kind of, again, make sure it wraps around the build and kind of takes up a lot of space without it being so crazy. I really wish, looking back, I would have made more of an outdoor kind of space because it is plain, but I do think overall it genuinely works. And I went in with just some very basic plain colours this time, going in with like whites and reds and things like that. And as you can see, I did try and fill up the space with some things, but I wasn't ultimately happy with just leaving it plain, so I do put in a fountain, as you will see later on. Using the Get to Work pack has been really helpful because there isn't a lot of shop related things in the base game, and yeah, I really liked exploring this one, and I definitely think I will be doing a lot more. If you check out some of my shorts, I have done a little restaurant build, and there will be a library going up soon just for a little bit of fun. And I love doing these shorts, and had to remember this time around to include all the walls because I don't on the shorts, so that was definitely a learning curve. Going on in with some of the outdoor decorating, I wanted it to look like a clothing shop, but not to the point where it's overly cluttered, as many of my builds often have so much stuff in them you kind of lose what the build's actually about. So I did go in and just use a lot of what was already there, and yeah, I really like it, so it was definitely a challenge, and I'm up for doing another one soon. As you can see, I went in with the very basic wall. I didn't want to go too crazy, but maybe next challenge I probably could do something crazier. I do feel at the moment all my builds kind of look semi the same, so I'd really like to explore some different outdoor options at least. And yeah, I wasn't a big fan of these plants, I'm not gonna lie. I've put them in there, and yeah, probably, I don't know, I wish I could change the colour of them. They kind of look like something out of a B movie, like science fiction evil plant kind of film. And yeah, so I did go in and put a little fountain outside. Overall, I should have probably raised the fountain and made it more of a centerpiece, but yeah, I just wanted to put some benches outside because, you know, after a hard day shopping you need to sit down. As you guys know by now, I really kind of want to create scenarios without actually building the Sims, so maybe that's something I should look to in the future. And yeah, I wanted to keep it kind of professional looking, like you could, you know, go and see it at any kind of like business park or what have you, you know, where there's always like a Home Bargains or something. And yeah, I love the fact that we went in with some basic floor lights. I think it kind of really added a little bit of a different touch to what I normally build, and yeah, I think it's kind of cute. I wanted to explore some other lighting options, which I do further on in the video, but yeah, I think it's really, really cool. And I think definitely going back in now, looking back at it, I would probably raise the fountain a little bit, have more of a seating area, maybe like create kind of like a little area where there's like seating and umbrellas and that kind of thing. But yes, going on in now, I use the stairs from the Get to Work pack. I do like the idea of the metal stairs, but I do kind of think it's more of an industrial thing rather than a shop thing. So going back in, I probably would have made the stairs a little lighter as well. There's a lot of black in this build, and of course, what shop would not be complete without massive windows, so they went in as well. So I will admit I did edit a lot of this out. I could not like place where I wanted the plants, and this probably took me around 10 minutes, I'm not gonna lie. If you guys know me by now, you know I procrastinate like crazy. But yeah, I went in the end with some of these small little bushes. I thought they were super cute. But yeah, this took me a long time to figure out that this is where I wanted it. As you can probably see, I was still not quite sure. But yeah, I think it kind of adds a little, it kind of softens out the stairs a little as well. I kind of like it. I think it adds like a little shape. You know what I mean by terrain and all of that stuff by now, because you guys have followed me being all crazy with plants and flowers for what feels like forever. I knew I wanted to include some, but not have it look like a flower shop, so I really hope that these kind of fit the bill. I would have made them a little bit darker, but I kind of like the fact that it looked a little brighter and not everything was all like really dark colours, like surrounding the foundation kind of thing. And I knew going on in next I wanted some really pretty lights, so I did actually use these on the Get to Work pack. They are the, can't even pronounce that one, the scintillating sconces. And yeah, I really liked how they turned out. We were able to put them over the windows, and again I just think it pulled the piece together a little, and of course I had to show you what it looked like in the evening as well. So going on in with the build, I kind of wished I'd made it the other way around and made the room on the left a little shorter and made the main room on the right, because I wanted to include some changing rooms, which you can see that I did do later on, because I like the idea of going in and actually trying on actual clothes in real life, and I kind of figured my sim probably would too. So the idea of the clothes shop actually came from my little ones. I basically gave them a massive list of things to do, like ideas, and they kind of threw out a library, a clothes shop, and finishing off of course the shorts, the kids bedroom series. So they are coming next on the list, and yeah, I really like the fact that they put up with me and all my ideas, I'm not gonna lie. So going on in next, I do go and make some changing rooms, because like I say, like there is nothing worse than going to a shop and finding something you really like and not being able to try it on there and then, or you know, because there's nothing worse than waiting till you get home and then it doesn't fit. So I wanted to create some kind of changing rooms, and yeah, I really like the idea of the size of them. I think that worked really well, and it didn't take away anything from the shop itself. So going on in, I do use the lights from the room build, as you can see. I do like the fact that they give off a lot of light. As you guys know by now, I normally just stick with the sources, because to me they just give the best light for the best value money. But I wanted to try something different and really use as much of this room build as possible, and yeah, I think it turned out really cool, especially having the 3 rooms as well. I think it definitely worked in my favour. So next is the intricate details of the build, which of course is things like the desks and things like that. I knew I wanted to create 3 desks because to me the build was already quite big, and of course I wanted to kind of include as many colours as possible without it looking too crazy. So of course I went in with 3 tills, and yeah, I did like the inspo for the back of the wall. If you can see in the clip that there are clothes along the back like so. So yeah, so I wanted to include those. I thought it was super cool to have it like in the background, so if you went up to the till you could just say I kind of want that. But as I was doing it, I didn't like how uniform it looked, so I did go in and change a few of the colours, and I do change the kind of like levels of the little things too. Again, I just wanted to include as many clothes as possible to make it look like a clothes shop, and yeah, ultimately by the end I do think like this worked out better, and of course like having the levels kind of just made it look a little bit more interesting, and rather than just having it all in one area. So going on in next, I used the full-length mirrors to kind of finish our changing rooms up a little. I love looking at all angles, I'm not gonna lie, especially like the holy grail of jeans. Jeans is like the biggest thing, so I definitely need 3 mirrors to have a look when I buy them. Going on in next, I do kind of steal this idea from the room already by having alternate mirrors to mannequins, and I knew I didn't want anything too like crazy colourful. I was kind of going to stick with our blues and our browns, to kind of just make it look a bit more like I think, I don't know, accessible for everyone maybe. But yeah, I do love how it turned out. Going on in, I probably would have changed the mannequins around so the child was in the middle, but ultimately, you know, it is what it is. And I love the idea of having these tables at different levels, so of course I went in and I kind of stole that idea too. I knew I didn't definitely just want clothes there, I knew I wanted other items as well, so I do include things like nail polish and hair items and deodorants and perfumes and candles and things like that, things that I would want to go to a shop and buy. So next I really wanted to create a kind of centerpiece for the build, so I do go in and I turn this kind of display setting into a checkerboard. Black and white is are definitely my favourite types of design. I love black and white stripes and I adore checkerboard. My only gripe with this is I probably would have made it, like, moved it a little further down so it wasn't so close to the mirrors, but overall I love how this turned out. And of course I wanted to include some surfaces because again I just wanted to have lots of things out for sale. I really thought that it would look like an actual shop rather than a build, and yeah, I was kind of toying with the idea of having like a special offer corner, so I went in and I did that. Instead of going with the statue podium, I went in with these, which I really feel ties like the dark colours of the checkerboard and the stairs all in together quite nicely. And yeah, going on in, I wanted to, again, as I say, surfaces, because I just wanted to be able to have lots of ideas and products and things to buy. And yeah, going on back in, I have realised I've made a bit of a mistake and I really wish I could change it, but I'm about to see it again and yeah, it irritated me. So of course, as you guys can see, there are some clothes at the desk at the very front of the store, and yeah, I do go in and I kind of just put some on the wall, and I really wish I just replaced it rather than just stole it right off the wall as you're about to see, because there is a gap, and that's the one thing I definitely would go in and change if I had to. I do go and make up this kind of mini area outside the changing rooms, because several times when I go clothes shopping myself, I always find something that I want to try on closer to the changing room, so I kind of wanted to put that in perspective in real life, probably most of the time in Primark. I'm not gonna lie, Primark is where it's at for me right now. And yeah, so I make these little tables, and I like the idea of just having some at least products there, but I was starting to notice that we had a lot of services and there's not actually a lot of clutter with the kind of get to work pack, so I do go in and I change this out for something you'll see in a second. And going on in, I did want to just include some plants because I didn't want it looking so, maybe unapproachable isn't the right word, but I kind of didn't want it to look so cold and business-like, so I did kind of add like a little friendly touch in. And of course I just had to add some more lights because it was a bit too dark for me, and I really wanted it to look like super bright and super welcoming. So next is, this actually is quite a funny blooper because I've been doing these shorts where it's just a slice of a wall, so I've totally forgot to paint that wall. As you guys know, when I make these shorts, it is only a cutaway room, so yeah, I probably should have done that sooner. So I do go in and look for the decorations and the clutter and things under there, but I found this and I was so excited, as you can tell. A Plum Bob ceiling fan. I couldn't go over it. So I do go in and I put some of the folded shirts on the display, as it does show in the room build, and I kind of like it, but I didn't like the fact that that was the really only clothing option that we had, especially as, you know, it was a clothing shop. I wish there was like more things in the get to work pack about that. I mean, the mannequins are cool, but you know what I mean. And yeah, so I do go in with these shoes, and I really wanted to create like a little shoe area, so I did take these tables down and put them in. Going back in, I probably would have made another row of just different shoes, but yeah, again, it was all about the product placement for me, and yeah, I thought it was super cool. Now, filling in some of these gaps, as you can see, I go in with like the nail polish and the perfume and things like that, because again, products. I didn't want it to look like a home. That was like my biggest fear about this, but ultimately I do really think it worked, and being able to have lots of like clothes everywhere and things like that, I definitely think it worked out well in my favour. The only thing I probably would go back in and change is like adding bits of clutter that, you know, like other nail polishes and things like that, just little bits to kind of make it look a bit more busy. But overall, actually, I kind of like how this turned out. It was a very cool build and it was quite challenging, and as you can see, I've edited loads out and cut out all the bloopers, but genuinely I do love how it turned out. I had to give like a little show. Yeah, and I love the fact that we went with a really odd shaped odd shaped build, and it kind of worked out in our favour. And of course I have to show you what it looks like in the afternoon and the evening. And yeah, again, I'm really proud of it. Again, of like I say in every video, there's things that I would definitely change, and yeah, making sure that there wasn't a gap of clothes on the wall was definitely one of them. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I've really loved making this, and I think I probably would use the Get to Work pack a lot more. There's definitely items in there that I think are worth it, and like I said in the beginning of the video, it's on the EA Play for free, so you know, everyone can kind of play it. And yeah, that's what this whole thing has really been about, is just really exploring what's already in the game and what's available to players without spending a lot of money. And so yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I hope you have the best day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.